Hi, I'm Shane.
And I'm Miranda, or Chiki. Join us as we wrap up one of our biggest adventures yet.
Exploring the whole of New Zealand in 2 months.
And sharing a camper van together.
Our plans this year to undertake a 3-month Canada-Alaska road trip were ruined due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
So we thought, what a great opportunity to get out and explore the country that we live in, without the busloads of international travelers that the spectacular place attracts.
Each episode, we take you to a different region throughout New Zealand and show you all the must-dos along the way, along with some of the more adventurous activities that most tourists tend not to take.
In our final episode, we wrap up Abel Tasman National Park, discovering some of its most remote locations. We head down the east coast to Kaikoura, where we experience one of the most interactive wildlife encounters New Zealand has to offer.
That looks pretty awesome.
After a stopover in Christchurch, the largest city in New Zealand's South Island, we make our way down the remote east coast, spotting one of the rarest penguin species in the world. Finally, we head back to central Otago and back to where we started, our home in the adventure capital of Queenstown.
About to leave the Awaroa campsite. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning, or close enough to, and we're about to make the dreaded tidal flat crossing. I think there's a shallow part over here, Miranda. Well, actually, I can't see how shallow that is right in front of us, but these look like little sandbars coming up. So they look really shallow. Miranda's made the run for it. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative in my estimations, but I think this is going to be the better way. This way. Oh, that is cold water. What?
It's like cold.
Wouldn't get that far, but it is pretty cold. Give it a few minutes, maybe it will be. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. It is pretty chilly. There's some real deep water here. Oh, almost up to the knees. Almost up to the knees. No! Not my pajama pants. I think they got a tad wet. How you doing, Miranda? There you go, heard it straight from the source. Now we're awake. I think there's another little stream we have to cross. Well, looks like we've made it. Time to have some breakfast somewhere. All the foxgloves, and here's the prettiest flower of them all. Stand up nice and tall, Chiki. Oh yeah, there is a view. So we're about to enter onto Goat Bay. Means we're close to Toranui. Terrible place to be right now, honestly. this up.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So we're here at the Totara Nui campsite, which is one of only 2 spots on the whole Abel Tasman track which can be accessed by car. So here and Awaroa, where we stayed last night. In fact, it's the same road that gets into those 2 points and then it diverges. But it's the only way you can access the park via vehicle. Otherwise, it's boat or walking. So we've kind of done both. About kayaking and hiking. There is an information centre here, so we're going to stop by the information centre, get all our details on our boat pickup for tomorrow as well. Also just get some local advice on where to go snorkeling and what to do for the afternoon. So we've got some pukekos here and some little nugget-sized pukeko chicks. Oh look, they're tiny. They're smaller than the ones that we saw in Rotorua. Hiding under the scrub. Springtime. Baby animal time. What do we have here, Chicky? Paradise shell ducklings. Really cute. So we have the Narata Historical Homestead up here, which was built in 1914. Just made it down here to Anapai Bay. So we're one bay over from our place of rest this evening, which is Mutton Cove. It's a really beautiful bay. So this section up here north of Totara Nui is actually considered the most isolated and less populated region of the Abel Tasman National Park. So in the last hour and a half or so, we've seen one other couple. I'm even questioning whether or not we'll be the only ones at our campsite coming up to Mutton Cove. So we'll see when we get there, but definitely seems like we have this slice of paradise to ourselves at the moment. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll break something.
How are you going to do it now?
This way. I'd rather do the extra walking than that. There she blows. Cove of Mutton. That's where we're staying tonight. Mutton Cove. So this is the Mutton Cove campsite.
Changed plans once again. We're here at Mutton Cove. It is nice. The nice, beautiful, warm day we had today has turned into a bit of a cold, windy day, so I don't think we're going to be snorkeling now. And as much as I felt like climbing up another hill today, I've got a big blister in my toe. Just put a patch on it, and I don't really think I'm going to go up to Separation Point either, which is a shame because Miranda said she had something really important to tell me at Separation Point.
Did not.
Damn
it. Plan is ruined.
Yeah, you're going to have to find another place for that one. Yeah, so we're just going to chill out here on the beach. It's a nice enough beach and there's nobody around.
Battle of the Weckers. It's like a territorial display.
There's Gannet. Both circling around.
I really want to catch one. Dive. Boom. Missed that.
Yeah, somewhere, Gannet.
Changing our
plans again. Miranda has convinced me to walk up to Separation Point Lighthouse with my blistered toe. So we're gonna head up there. I'm sorry, I just have to capture how big these mussels are. Those things are massive. It's like too bad this is a marine reserve. You can't really eat any of them.
Except for the seabirds. That's literally our path.
Well, we have
This comes down
we
and
have a
goes...
troll guarding our path. We'll just have to go around him.
Oh man.
Oh man. So we have a little bit of a problem. We have a seal guarding our path there, and you're not supposed to get within 20 meters of them. The only way to get outside 20 meters of him is to go between him and the water, which is the other thing they say don't do, because that makes them feel threatened.
I think we should go looking around where those green plants are. Like hide behind them, sort of. Like,
You can try it. All right. Some cormorants or shags in New Zealand. So it was pretty funny. I was making my way up these rocks here. I thought this was a rock over there, and all of a sudden I came face to face with this seal. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep my distance. So you can see, oh yeah, there's a seal down there. See one straight away.
never spot them so easily.
Okay. Well, they're different shapes of the rocks. Yeah, so apparently they got a gannet colony down there, and they're all fake gannets playing the sound of a gannet. It looked like real gannets to me. This is how they create a gannet colony. These are all dolls. It's crazy. But we did see a bunch of gannets flying around before, so they are in the area. We do actually have another seal down here. Don't know if you can spot him. Right there. Got ourselves another seal up on the rock here. These funky sounds over here is the gannet colony. Sounds like a whole bunch of aliens playing recordings, and they have some dolls. So bizarre, I didn't know this is how they do it. It's almost like going to like a zoo in the future when animals are extinct. Made our way out to Separation Point, and I would say it's worth the extra hour return trip, if only for the wildlife itself. So our friend is still on our path, and this is our only way around. I tell you what, we were gone for about an hour. Just sitting there, just doing all the poses. Oh, it's super cute.
It's clapping.
I think it's just changing position. It's funny to see that the only footprints here are ours. So it's our final day here on the Abel Tasman track. We've only got a 2-hour walk here from Mutton Cove, where we currently are, to Taranui, where we'll be catching our lunchtime ferry. We are running slightly late, so we have to sort of walk a little briskly, so there might be very few recordings from today. So we're here in Taranui, half an hour early, a lot quicker than we were yesterday. It's amazing what a good night's sleep can do, and a lack of a painful blister can do. We're just chilling out here by the beach, beautiful spot actually, until our water taxi comes. And tonight we'll be in Motueka, which is not too far from Abel Tasman. We're going to journey tomorrow down to the Nelson Lakes. So we're back here in Marahau, where it all started for our Abel Tasman kayaking and hiking adventure. We're going to do a little side trip now to Kaikoura, on the way stopping at a formation known as the Split Apple Rock. And tonight we're staying in a place called Motueka. So we've survived, we've made it. Alrighty, we're back to the glorious Benny and the Jets. Excited, Chicky? Excited for showers and hot meals. So once again, plans have changed. We didn't end up going out to Split Apple Rock or Kaikoura. In fact, we got a little bit delayed. It's now 3 hours later after leaving, or supposedly leaving, Marahau. On the way out, I felt the car was driving a bit funny, pulled over. We had another punctured tire. And now we're heading into Motueka, and we need to reassess our plans over the next few days because we have a temporary tyre on at the moment, which we can only sort of drive short term, and it only lets us max 80 kilometers an hour, and none of the mechanics are open for 2 more days. It's a Saturday, everything's shut on a Sunday up here, so we're going to have a little bit of a chat and figure out what our next steps are. May have to change some things on the itinerary. Alrighty, so this is our first meal after 5 days of kayaking and hiking in Abel Tasman. We are worn out, but we are hungry. There's nachos. Dig in. There's the Karangi Ranges in the background there. How's the chill day, Chicky?
So good.
So good? As good as those chocolates? Okay, so we're in Motueka. We're about to leave. Give you guys a little bit of an update on our situation. So we've just dropped the car off at the tyre place, and they are replacing our tyre on the car. So we're not using the temporary one anymore. We've had to change some of our plans. We were supposed to go yesterday to the Nelson Lakes, but because of the car issue and because it was a weekend, we had to wait until today to actually change our tyre. So unfortunately we have to cut out Nelson Lakes, which is something we were really looking forward to, but there's always time, you know, we live in New Zealand, to come back up here and check it out again, right?
Yeah, and we did see it a little bit on the way up.
Yeah, we got to see it on the way up, you know.
We made a stop.
It would have been nice to actually go for a kayak or a hike up there, so we'll have to sort out another trip up here another time. We're going to head straight to Kaikoura just so we don't waste time. Miranda's got to get back for work, yeah, so we want to stick to our time scheduling and things like that, which kind of sucks, but it's the way things are. So we're going to head down to Kaikoura tonight. We've got 2 nights in Kaikoura, and then we're off to Christchurch. Miranda's excited for her meal. It's a beautiful little cafe here in Motueka. Yeah, bloom it's called.
So we've just arrived in the beautiful seaside town of Kaikoura, and Kaikoura is quite famous for its marine life. I was reading about the swells that they get here, and it's kind of a mixture of like the warm swells and the cooler waters as well that combine and make these sort of coastal areas here a really rich feeding ground. So we've already seen tons of colonies of fur seals on our way here. It is also really famous for dolphins as well. Different types of dolphins live here, and also whales as well. So it's a very beautiful place on the South Island of New Zealand to explore a bit of the marine life. Not a bad free camping spot. It's really cool. Just keeps getting better too. It's like the sky is on fire. The Anzac Park here in Kaikoura. You can actually see all the old whale bones. Formed archways out of whale bones. It's crazy. Something you don't see every day. Obviously this area used to be a bit of a whaling port. They used to use the blubber from the whales to light the street lamps of London. Okay, so we're here in Kaikoura, which is like the marine capital of the South Island of New Zealand. I told Miranda that we're heading out to a little beach today, but the truth is we're going for a dolphin swim.
No.
Yeah, we're going on a dolphin
Wait.
swim.
For real?
Yeah, so I booked her in secret a dolphin swim.
Shit, no.
Happy early Christmas present.
So that's what that was.
That's what that is. Excited?
Thanks, babe.
So.
Excited.
What are we about to do?
Go swimming with dolphins.
Dusky dolphins in particular.
Dusky dolphins.
Alright, we're all kitted up, ready to go. Look at these guys, they're getting wild.
Oh my god.
Got our masks and our suits on. Look like you're ready to go fight in the Crusades, Chicky.
Ready.
Oh yeah, Sally, you go slow.
Dusky dolphins are a small to medium-sized dolphin endemic to the cooler waters of the southern hemisphere. They are a very social species and regularly interchange between smaller mating groups of about 10 individuals to larger-sized pods as we experienced. Within these groups, mating is considered a social sport, with females preferring the males with the agility to jump and chase them.
Dusky dolphin tourism began locally in the late 1980s as a side attraction to sperm whale watching. Whale and dolphin tourism has grown significantly since that time, here and internationally. Globally, the demand for cetacean tourism is also rising. In New Zealand, its effects on the dolphin and whale populations seem to be much less intrusive than many other places. In Argentina, for example, there is no regulation. Dusky dolphin pods and activities are often disturbed by tour operating vessels. New Zealand tours, on the other hand, are operated under strict permits. Not only do they limit the number of tourists in particular areas, they have stringent guidelines and conditions relating to approach procedures and swim operations.
That was a pretty awesome experience. So the peninsula here in Kaikoura attracts all this amazing marine life because of a 2,000 metre canyon that lies directly below the peninsula, and it sort of combines this mixture of cold and warm currents, which makes the conditions ideal for marine mammals. This is awesome.
Never seen so many dolphins at once. Oh look, there's a baby, Miranda. Hey! Oh! They doing some crazy flips. Hey! Yeah, this is the same guy. These are eyes too.
Dusky dolphins are known as one of the most acrobatic species of dolphin, performing high leaps, head-over-tail leaps, back slaps, head slaps, tail slaps, and spins performed over and over again. These tricks are not inherited, and calves learn independently how to perform each technique individually. The pod we came across, our skipper estimated as having 300 to 400 dolphins, which is quite large. Even the operators were very surprised by the size that came to visit us.
Jimmy Armour's beach in Kaikoura, and this is where our free camping is tonight. Just on this beautiful little bay here. There's a whole bunch of seal colonies in the background there. You can sort of see them ducking and diving behind us, which is really cool. Going to have lunch at the seafood barbecue little truck stop just around here, famous for the crayfish, which is like lobster. And this was recommended to us by the dolphin swim people, so you know, if the locals recommend it, then that's usually pretty good. Look at that crayfish. Oh. So you choose your cray, you've got the prices here labelled on them. Massive ones. There are lobsters around there.
So all this coastline behind me here from Kaikoura heading south is actually all protected. And part of the reason why it's all protected is because of the November 2016 earthquake, which heavily affected this area. And one thing you don't hear about a lot with these types of earthquakes is how they affect the marine life in the area. We have a huge canyon just off the coast here, and when the canyon slipped in, all the silt sort of flowed into the bottom of the ocean floor and killed off a lot of the marine life that sits around the ocean floor. So it's all about sort of reimbursing and bringing that sort of stuff back. So all this area is currently under protection.
We're just about to head up to Point Keen. You keen, Chickie?
I'm keen.
Keen as beans. So it's only about a 10-15 minute walk from where our free camping area is, and then we're going to do a nice little coastal walk around to some seal colonies. It's a stunning place, and that's a stunning face.
Yeah.
You know I say only the sweet things on camera. So we are currently at low tide, and we're about to walk on the tidal flats for about half an hour or so, just around the point. Normally during high tide, this area here would be completely inaccessible. So it's quite cool that we can walk on these and going pretty much down to the seal colony. Miranda's going to harass some seals now. kelp forests. It's only a young one, so it's very cautious. It's like, do I jump in or do I not? I don't want to get my fins wet. Look at all these seagulls. I'm gonna have to walk through that shortly. I really hope one of them doesn't poop on me.
Oh my god.
What?
A bird just shat on me.
I have to see it.
Please. Is it on my head?
I can see it on your arm. But, oh, there. No, not really. A little bit on your back too. Nice. My biggest fear has become Miranda's reality. This one hasn't even blinked since we got up here. So it specifically says not to enter the bird nesting colony. But to be honest, I don't really want to anyway. They're dropping bombs everywhere over there. Look at all these coloured wildflowers. Poor Miranda. All this beauty, and a hay fever's driving her crazy. She has to carry these tissues with her wherever she goes. So there's like hundreds of seals down there. We're about to walk through a seal colony, and we have been advised by the signage, the entrance, to stay at least 10 meters away from the seals. I was just saying to Miranda, it's kind of crazy. It's like all the wildlife we've seen up until this point in the trip has led us up to this moment, and now this stuff is everywhere. It's just like they've just thrown it all at us and gone, here, enjoy wildlife, guys. This is the sort of chaos we've just walked into. Everything's going on here.
Drawn in by its rich marine life, the region has a long-standing Māori history. Due to a sharp rise in the seabed at the southern end of the Hikurangi Trench, along with prevailing winds and tides, many deep-water species are found close to the shore, which attracts an abundance of seabirds, fur seals, and cetaceans such as dolphins and whales.
I love this sign. It says, "Do not attempt to move a seal." Just pick one up.
This brought the attention of commercial whalers in the mid-1800s, which had a hugely devastating impact on the ecosystem. This was further worsened with the introduction of unregulated commercial fishing and crayfishing, decimating fish and crayfish stocks until the 1970s.
After the ban on commercial whaling in 1964 and a focus on ecotourism in the 1980s, Kaikoura has seen its marine life flourish once again. With the correct protections in place, not only are the environmental benefits obvious, but also the economic benefits have boomed. Kaikoura was the first local authority in the Southern Hemisphere to receive recognition by the Earthcheck Community Standard for its ecological practices. A strategic plan for the future of the Kaikoura Coast is being developed with a local Māori initiation known as the Kaikoura Coastal Guardians for the preservation of this ecologically important region.
Oh, Miranda, you'd be so cozy in here. So this little hill down here is called Sugarloaf. Maybe they think it somehow looks like Sugarloaf Mountain, Rio de Janeiro. Or a loaf of sugar. A sugar pile, maybe.
One thing that travel has really allowed us to appreciate is not only the importance of the natural world, but also how fragile it is. In a space of just a few decades, ecologically rich areas can be completely wiped out due to deforestation or over-commercialized fishing. This is a trend we have both witnessed globally, and the inspiring thing about coming to a place like Kaikoura is that with the right protections in place, a lot of what has been lost can be returned.
So we've made it up to the Point Keen Lighthouse, and we've certainly seen a lot of fantastic lighthouses on this trip. I for one love a good lighthouse. This is certainly interesting, you know, this isn't quite as grand and epic as Cape Palliser or what was the other one, Castle Point, but it still has its charm. Still like the little engine that could, right? There you go. Keeps everyone safe. So this talks about the landscape here, the uplifted ocean sediments, which I think I've mentioned several times on this series. I don't think I'll talk about it now, so you can watch episode 1 if you're not sure how that works. So an interesting fact I just read, that because of the active fault line in this area, these mountains up here actually grow faster than any other mountain range in New Zealand. They grow at about 10 millimeters per year, so with the erosion factored in from wind and rain, snow, ice, etc., you can factor in how many, or calculate how many millions of years it would take to get this high. It's kind of crazy. He's just chilling like a SEAL villain. These colours don't look real. It's insane. Alrighty, so we are making our way down to Christchurch right now. We've just left from Kaikoura. Had an amazing experience in Kaikoura. It was really, really cool. It was kind of one of those places that I wasn't really putting a lot of expectation on, but it did blow me away. So it's definitely a really cool place. It kind of feels a little bit like Queenstown, but on the ocean as opposed to a lake. You know, the big, beautiful Rocky Mountains. We had some semi-issues with the freedom camping there, so I thought it'd be worth mentioning as well, just if there are people out there freedom camping. They're enforcing some new rules, and we had people both days. We're in Kaikoura in 2 separate locations, the South End railway station, and also as well just up at the beach there. And they came along and they sort of were giving out warnings and tickets and saying that people had to leave by 7 a.m. There was no signage there, and even on the website, the Kaikoura website, it doesn't mention that. In fact, at the South End station where we stayed on our first night, it says it becomes a regular car park at 8:30, but nowhere does it say 7. The place we stayed last night, we specifically chose so we could sort of just loiter around and hang out for the morning and not rush away, but they kind of seemed to think that it was definitely clear cut. So they let us off, obviously, because there is no signage there, but just keep in mind that's what they're trying to enforce. And they gave us a little survey as well, so I don't think they're really wanting freedom campers. A lot of the survey questions were more or less about, you know, would you book a regular campground if there was no freedom camping? So keep that in mind if you are coming through here and freedom camping. But aside from that, it is a beautiful place, definitely worth a stop. We're going to have a bit of a chill day in Christchurch, catching up with some friends and things like that, and then we'll pick up the journey from there tomorrow. So we're in Hagley Park, and the best way to get around is on a scooter. We've got our scooter expert right here who's going to show you how it's done. Give it a spin, cheeky.
Oh, you have to kickstart it, sort of, and then you...
home a little bit. That is one big giant gum tree. It's the entrance to the New Zealand garden. It's nice. Kind of reminds me of like Japanese gardens. They use a lot of rock features in those. So this is the World Peace Bell, and Chicky's gonna go up and ring it. Come on, Chicky. No. You're allowed to. You're supposed to. Otherwise there won't be world peace. Yeah. Well, you want the whole world here, right? There you go. Give it a good swing. I don't hear it ringing. You can see through there, the water looks really clean. It's a very peaceful location. So Chicky found her new home under a willow tree. It's beautiful. This is the punting house. So this is where they do the punting from. Lovely little cottage. Put his pilot hat on, and he shows where he's from. It's right down there. Miranda's favourite penguin of all. What is it, Miranda? Miranda's going to get a photo next to him. She's not. This one reminds me of Elton John. All the really cool bars around here. Getting pretty thirsty. I think it's time for a beer. Alright, so we're just on our way out of Christchurch now. We had to make a little stop on our way out. It's tyre number 3. We're going to change today. So hopefully we don't need to change any more tyres, because we've got pretty much brand new tyres except for one. We're making our way today down to a place called the Maraki Boulders, which is kind of like a unique sort of feature on the east coast of the South Island. So we're making our way down from Christchurch along the east coast. Go stop down in a place called Timaru and stock up on some groceries, and then stay down the night at the Maraki Boulders and see these beautiful marble shapes on the beach, which will be pretty cool. Yeah, we had a good night in Christchurch last night. Just caught up with some friends and had some drinks. Didn't really take any footage of that, obviously. We had been to Christchurch a few months prior, and I'll put a link to the video there, and you can learn a little bit more about Christchurch and the nearby Awaroa, which is a place I highly recommend. We were originally supposed to go there on this trip, but because of all the car issues and the setbacks, we had to actually cut it short. But yeah, if you check out our other video, which I'll put a link to, you can see Awaroa and learn a little bit more about Christchurch. So pretty much just a driving day today. We've just crossed into Otago now, so this is our final region of New Zealand before we make our way back to Queenstown. These are the oldest living turtles on Earth. They've grown so massive that they've buried their heads under the ground because they just can't deal with reality anymore.
55 million years.
55.
So here we are at the Maraki Boulders. These unusually spherical shaped boulders were formed 55 million years ago. They're known as concretions and came to be with mud, pebbles and shells being deposited in the seafloor, and after a while becoming buried, allowing lime deposits to form around them in an even sort of way, covering them evenly. And eventually, the erosion of the cliffs and the waves had allowed them to be uncovered in more recent years, allowing us to see for ourselves this wonderful and unusual rock formation.
So here is one still in the oven. Wonder if it's a boy or a girl.
Alright, science with Miranda, here we go.
So, this is a really good example of when the boulders start to crack, and you can see the yellow crystals that were formed from the lime deposits exposing themselves.
Exposing themselves? Is that what you're going to do next?
Sounds naughty.
So there we have it, science and geology right here with Miranda. We're going to head to our campground now. So this is our freedom camping spot at the Katiki Beach Reserve. This is our view for the evening, and hopefully some of those clouds clear away and we get a really good clear night sky, some beautiful stars. This is only about 10 minutes south of the Meraki boulders, so it's a great place to stay if you are freedom camping. And this beach is spectacular. There is nobody around either. Look at that. The beauty of New Zealand, right?
So I just missed it, but this seal, a seal there was surfing all the way down here. It was really cool watching him body surf. He's jumping in and out. There he is.
So we just left our Katiki Beach campsite where we freedom camped for the night, and we're heading up to Katiki Point Historic Reserve, which has a lighthouse, a seal colony, and a yellow-eyed penguin colony. It's very significant to the Maori people, so we aren't able to bring any food or drink up there. We'll explain more when we get there, but yeah, then after that we're heading to St Bathans. So fingers crossed we see some yellow-eyed penguins. We haven't seen those ones yet, and they're the rarest penguins in the world. We've only seen the blue ones, so let's check it out.
Beach.
seals, and they just sort of all staring at us.
Alright, that's the yellow-eyed penguin right there. Oh, they are.
Hang around for a while as well.
That's very cool.
Penguin, otherwise known as a hoiho. Very luckily, one of the guys that work here, he called us over and said, "We've got a penguin." So we ran down to the beach, and surely enough, we spotted it. It is the world's rarest penguin species, and it is the largest breeding species in New Zealand. There's only about 1,700 breeding pairs left, and yeah, I just feel so lucky to have seen one.
So before we get going, behind me here we have the Katiki Point Lighthouse, which was built in 1878 because of a whole bunch of ship crashes in the area. There's a whole bunch of reefs off this coast here, so they found it necessary to put up a lighthouse. And they did have a lighthouse keeper up there until the 1970s, when he was replaced by the automated lighthouse that you see behind us up there. We're going through right now the old St Bathans goldfield town. This is a historical heritage town, so it goes back to the 1800s, and you can see all the old sort of cottages and stone houses. It's really cool.
Don't you think it's weird, Chicky, that a week ago we were like at the beach, relaxing, sunny beach, and now we've got a creepy snowman staring at us through the window?
It's freezing cold. Ugh.
That is a creepy freaking snowman. He has definitely not aged well. I'm guessing it must have snowed here last night. That's all that's left. He'll be watching you tonight when you sleep, Chicky.
Historical St Bathans, which is an old gold mining town. Between the 1850s and the 1870s, this area was boomed for gold mining off the back of the American and Australian gold mine. Central Otago was pretty much like the place to be. This is where everyone came to, and St Bathans in the 1860s was probably the most profitable gold mining area in the world. Behind us here, we're about to walk around the Blue Lake, and the Blue Lake is man-made lake. In fact, it was the deepest mine in the southern hemisphere at the time. So this used to be a hill. But now it's a beautiful lake, and we're going to go for a nice little historical walk around the lake itself. As you can see, there's an absolutely stunning lake, and the way that they actually created the lake itself was a process known as sluicing. So after a lot of the surface gold had been dug up and panned out, they had to reach some of the deeper gold beneath the hill that was once here. And sluicing essentially is a process where you use high pressured hydraulics like hoses to spray down the mountain walls and essentially erode away all the rock and dirt until you get the gold beneath. Scrap metal. You can see some of the old sluicing equipment up here on the hill. Yeah, so these look like ruined cottages. It's pretty cool. So the mine itself was almost 70 meters deep, and like I said, that was just cut out of a hillside. It was actually part of this hillside that we're on right now, and over time, obviously, that big trench that was dug down there filled up with water, and that's how we got this big beautiful lake. St Bathans is only about an hour and a half from Queenstown. Queenstown, which is the major tourist hub here in the South Island. It's also where we live as well. We've got one of our friends, Francesco, coming to meet us out here at lunchtime. We're gonna have some lunch and then go for a nice little kayak around this lake. And then we make our final journey home back to Queenstown today. So yeah, we'll be moving into our new place and settling into Queenstown. Might show a little bit about Queenstown as well, just in case some of you people haven't been to Queenstown or are planning a trip down to Queenstown. But I've got plenty of other videos on my YouTube page for Queenstown, like tons. So if you are looking at visiting Queenstown or even moving to Queenstown, a lot of people move internationally to Queenstown as well. Check out some of those videos too. Voyage of Francesco's kayak. I feel like it's going to be very similar to the maiden voyage of the Titanic. As soon as it starts, oh. This is great. I'm escaping it. Well, this is the hard part because we'll be going with the wind on the way back. This is cool.
That's look at this, nice, beautiful.
Yeah. Still, just stay in this section. Get the fishing rod out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I've actually got a fishing rod.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got one with the van. We didn't take it. I think there's just like they probably just released some trout or something here. Not native, of course, because this isn't a natural lake, but. You can see these little ruins out here on the peninsula as well to the right. Little old cottages and shit.
Oh yeah, probably something. Probably better.
At least you got to break in the kayak.
Since I used it.
Yeah. That's right, next Tuesday.
Cheeky dealing up. Cheeky dealer.
Yeah.
Empty beer.
After our amazing trip around Aotearoa, New Zealand, there are many valuable experiences we have undertaken, enabling us to learn more about its rich history, culture, landscapes, and environment. We hope we were able to share many of these lessons with you along the way. There are many places we missed, and we could literally spend years exploring this magical country and still not see everything. We hope that some of these other highlights are covered in our previous videos outside of this series, or in future episodes to come.
Next episode, we spend a spectacular summer in the Queenstown area with plenty of outdoor activities to be featured. Thank you for following us on this journey. If you have enjoyed this series, please let us know with a like and comment below. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell-shaped button to be notified of our upcoming adventure travel videos.